So not sure if you can hear a little squeak here. Hi folks, I'm Ed, and this is Backroad Hero. Welcome back. So the last video, Buyer's Regret, I went through all the bits and pieces that we knew about when we test drove the car, the bits and pieces that we found out subsequently, and this is just a follow-up on that. We had a little bit of a squeak coming from one of the probably the idler pulleys on one of the two auxiliary belts on the car, and today's where we find out whether it's a peach or a lemon. We're off to Mark Smith, Land Rover specialist in Bicester. Pardon the breath, it's really cold this morning. And we're going to find out whether we finally got a peach or a lemon. In the previous video, you'll also know about the Consumer Protection Act and all the rest of it, and the right to return within 30 days if the car is not fit for purpose, etc, etc. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link down in the corner here, or maybe up on the top. You can click on that. We've also got a full playlist on this car now, so if you click on the Backroad Hero, go to playlists and click on the Range Rover, you'll see all the videos that we've got on that. If you haven't subscribed, we're about 500 subscribers short of actually getting paid for the channel. So for the last 4 months we're doing this for free. YouTube have been collecting all the revenue from the adverts, so you'd really be doing me a favor by clicking on the little subscribe icon in the bottom right hand corner, and more of that. So off to Mark Smith, the specialist Land Rover, to sort out this little squeak. There it is. It's coming from one of the idler pulleys, I think, one of the two auxiliary belts in the car. We'll keep you informed along the way. So if you saw the last video about buyer's regret, right to return, etc, you'll know we've got a 30-day limit to return the car if it's not fit for purpose, not as described, or not in good condition. On the drive home we found that we couldn't open the fuel filler flap properly. There was a whistling noise from the top of the windscreen area, and there was a little squeak, albeit small, from the auxiliary belt, or one of the auxiliary belts in the car. There's two of them. To me it looks like an idler pulley. It's not the alternator or power steering pump, etc, etc. Hopefully it's just a small change. We contacted Fort Used Cars, the service manager there, and he basically said if we can get it fixed locally, then he'll sort us out for that one. He needs a part number for the fuel flap cable that's damaged, and hopefully that will be along. The radio surround that wasn't illuminating, the salesman Sam insists that he's 98% sure that it shouldn't illuminate. Well, I told him I was 98% sure that it should. And to make up the other 2%, I joined a Facebook group, the L322 owners group in the UK, posted a question there, and straight within a few minutes I got pictures and everything else to assure me that in fact it should illuminate, and here's the proof. So went back to him and said I'm now 100% sure that this should illuminate. Anyway, they're not interested. It doesn't form part of the function of the car to do what it does. The one key issue needs to be addressed. The rear parcel shelf is missing. The tow bar needs to be fitted. This is primarily a tow car for the E46 Racer, so that's the reason for buying that. Other things then, so there were a few clips broken when they replaced the windscreen. It was cracked, but gladly all the heating element works in it for the heated screen. And more annoyingly is the little squeak from the front of the engine. So we want to take the car to a specialist. I can look around it till my heart's content, but unless you really know these cars inside and out and you're fixing them on a daily basis, you have no really idea of the key areas of what really to look for, what's normal, what's not. I had a 322 in the past, and it was a TD6. I'm not hugely familiar with the 4.4 V8 diesel. We're trying to do things as quickly as possible. We're really, with Christmas period and all the rest of it, we are The Christmas period delayed things just a little bit, so this is the first time. So we're 2 weeks down the line. I've still got a couple of weeks to figure things out, but it's nice to take a car for an inspection at someone that knows what they're looking for. That's what we're going to do. We're highly recommended. Comes Mark Smith Limited, or if you just Google Mr. Land Rover, and he'll have a good look over the car. He's asked us to leave it down, leave it with him, so on a quiet period he'll get it up on the ramp and have a good look around. So here we are, Mark Smith Limited, Land Rover specialist. So always good to get to know your specialist. We haven't been here before, but comes highly recommended. No doubt we'll be back for regular servicing, etc, etc. Much better than the dealers. You'll find mechanics at the dealers or technicians, they can replace a gearbox but they can't rebuild one. Guys like these will remove the gearbox, send it off to a specialist to get rebuilt, and then put it back in the car, so only the work that needs to be done will actually be done. So we're going to leave it with them, see what happens, and we'll get back to you with a full report.
That's for what we've done today. So check over, and then everything from the advised all the way down to where it says workshop labour is what we found, which isn't a lot.
Of those, what would we go back to the original supplying dealer with and said that we would like them to fix to make it fit for purpose as such?
Copy of
Prop
it.
centre bearing rubber. Would that have given a little bit of play as you come off the throttle? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I felt it a little bit. Yeah.
A bit of a dud.
Yeah.
Or,
absolutely.
You might feel it as the engine starts slowing down.
That's right.
You almost feel like it's
right. Little judder.
Yeah.
So it's just, I want to go back to them and say, look, as far as we're concerned, I'm going to reject this vehicle based on these requiring doing.
Yeah.
We'd accept the vehicle beyond the 30 days, provided you would, either do it yourselves up there or quite happy to do it locally.
Yeah. To do the whole lot, you're looking at about 2269.
Okay. Yeah.
So for a vehicle like that, that's not a big deal.
No. Both rear subframe bushes split. Now that came up as an advisor on a previous MOT. All of a sudden got through clean, as it were. I'll say there is much more wrong with the car, but as such, these are the two critical elements that we need resolved.
Two belts, all the idlers and tensioners, because if you're doing it and taking them off, if one of them's gone, you know what it's like with a bearing.
You may as well.
They're all going to be That's to do the two belts.
Yeah.
And that's to do the prop shaft.
So the bearing can't be pressed off it then?
No. You used to be able to buy the centre bearing, but I think what was happening were people were buying the bearing, splitting the prop, putting the bearing back on, but not rebuilding it properly. So the props were failing. And they were saying that it was down to the bearing.
Yeah, it's not.
So
No, I realise that. I just know I'm going to meet some resistance because there's 1,500 quid there,
Yeah.
So there we have it. Here we have the paperwork. An hour's labour to have a look at the car. That's perfectly acceptable. And what's really nice to see with these guys is that their labour rate is 59 quid plus VAT. That is perfect for a specialist, the guys that really know their stuff. And where that's even more efficient is the fact that they know exactly what needs doing. And they don't mess around on the job. The big list of stuff. Two main issues came out of this. Come under the banner of, I suppose, not fit for purpose, or as well, not good state of repair. Rear prop centre bearing rubber is split. Unusual thing about that is on the Range Rovers is they do not supply just the centre bearing. It's a brand new rear prop shaft. There was a bit of play in it. I could feel it was driving coming off the throttle, and it was. I just put it down to the four-wheel drive system. That for the prop shaft and fitting and all the rest of it is £740. The other one is highlighted, and that was the squeaking. Was the main belts and tensioners and pulleys required replacement. Two belts on this vehicle would normally come under wear and tear, so the warranty wouldn't cover that. And that is another £692. So we're going to go back to the supplying dealer, basically tell him that these two items really need repairing. We've given the estimates for that. Hopefully they'll come back And if they don't get back to us in the next few days, we're getting close to the 30-day right of rejection. And I'm going to attach these two estimates along with a note saying that if they are not rectified, or if you do not respond to this email, we will take it as your acceptance of returning the vehicle for a full refund. Now, they don't really want to do that. We paid good money for the car. Now, had I bought it privately, had we stole it away at a reasonable price, then of course you take all this, you knock it on the head and you put it up to experience, but not when you buy from a main dealer. They wouldn't even give us, say, £100 towards a second key. They didn't supply us with, little bits and pieces that probably would have made the difference to us feeling the way that we do. If you look at the other video that we did about buyer's remorse, etc., etc., you'll find that there's a lot of that goes on. You think you've got a good car, and then there's other bits and pieces that start to show. Now, we're no dozers. I've been around the automotive industry long enough. I know my rights, and we shall defend them vigorously. So other bits and pieces that came out of this. The offside rear anti-roll bar link is worn. Both rear upper knuckle joints worn. The rear exhaust mount is twisted. Both rear subframe bushes split, and if you look at one of the earlier videos, you find out it was a previous MOT that highlighted the bushes. But they miraculously went away on the last MOT. It has no advisories, this car, believe it or not. Probably a friendly MOT station. So I'm really sorry, guys. These things just don't go away. What was nice to see, though, is that the front to back pipes had been replaced, as had the flexible hydraulic lines to the front brakes as well. We also have got both side steps rusty. That's fair enough. We've got the wrong grille screws fitted, covers missing from aircon pipes, engine cover missing, scuttle panel trim clips and screen surround trim clips, brake pipes and front hoses have been replaced, and then the workshop labour on that. So nothing major. We know about the trim clips, grille screws. You know what? You just wouldn't have picked up this stuff unless you really knew what you were looking for. I would have seen screws fitted. I would have known that they were the wrong screws fitted. So prop centre bearing and the main belts and tensioners really need doing. We've got evidence of the fact that they're squeaking nicely, and well, it's undeniable these guys are specialists. So let's see what happens. So it's Range Rover return day. It's gone back to Fort up in Birmingham to get things done. We contacted them and we let them know that it was unacceptable. We're officially rejecting the vehicle. If they didn't fix the issues, that's because we were getting close to the time frame. They came back, said the quotes that we got to fix it at the independents were too high, and they'd prefer to do it themselves. So that's what we're doing today. Robin's taking the vehicle up. I'm working later, so I can't do that myself. A bit of a trek to Birmingham. We did ask could they come and pick the car up, but no, they don't do anything like that. So it's another day out for them to get the car back. In fairness, if they fix it and do the bits and pieces that we wanted, the long list is a long list. There's some of those things might be age related, quite certain that they are. The big things that we would reject the vehicle on would be the belts. There's no record of any of the belts being changed in the 10 years plus ownership of the age of the car. So that's a real much. The idler pulleys, it turns out, are quite a weak thing on these cars. And they bend. They're only held in by 2 bolts, according to the specialist. And over time, they tend to sag a little bit under the tension and cause problems. The fuel flap needs to be sorted, as does the rear prop shaft bearing as well, to stop that moving around. That might have been the little bit of play that I felt in the 4-wheel drive system. I'll not know until I drive the car after the stuff has all been done. So unlike buying privately, where it's caveat emptor, kind of a buyer's beware, it's up to you to come up with the problems, negotiate the price and walk away. and you have the responsibility to fix it all. That's the luxury, effectively, from buying from a dealer. They're legally bound to present the vehicle in good condition. You have protections, you have rights. You found how this video hopefully will give you some sort of insight into actually buying a vehicle, discovering it's got issues and going back to the dealer. If it subsequently becomes a problem, you've got your 30-day cutoff, you've got your 6-month cutoff, and you've got your 12-month cutoff as well. Had we not got the independent inspection, we wouldn't have the ammunition, as it were, to go back to the original supplying dealer of this car with the defects. There is no question about the integrity of Mr. Land Rover and Mark Smith Limited as to the condition of this vehicle. It looks like we'll be using them going forward. Another one, my wife hates that expression, but looks like we'll use Mark Smith anyway. Good to find a local independent specialist. We just shouldn't have had to go through all of this hassle over a number of weeks. It cost us about 70 quid to get the inspection done. Although it's nice to know that we're not looking to recover that. Always nice to know what condition a vehicle is really in. All of these little bits and pieces should have been spotted at the PDI. The clips, especially for the window surround, the missing bits and pieces, it really should have been looked into a bit more. The fuel flap, is that not obvious, guys? I'm really sorry, but little bits and pieces like that you notice makes you wonder what sort of condition and what sort of preparation you've actually done to the vehicle. So I can't really wait to get this on the road. We've got a nice car transporter. These things tow 3.5 tons. We've got a transporter for the BMW, and first race is April at Silverstone, so can't wait to get started again this season. Just waiting on my race license returning for this year, and we'll get cracking on that. Maybe get a track day to get my hand in again for the start of the season. So that's it for now. Thanks for sticking by. The Land Rover saga continues. Next video will be when we get the car back, see what's been done, what's been fixed, and what hasn't, and what we got to do ourselves. Still looking at the streaming Bluetooth. We've got a little InVeri device, so that was good. We're lucky we got Bluetooth for the phone itself, but nothing streaming for music wise. So the InVeri video will follow. I'll also do another video where I've got to pull the dash top off and replace the radio surround as well. So that's all coming. Stand by, and thanks for joining me on this journey of Range Rover ownership. So to answer the question then, is it a peach or a lemon? I think it's a peach masquerading as a lemon at the moment. We'll drop the lemony bit and we'll have a bit more peach, and we'll have many years of enjoyment. Thanks for joining me. All the best now. Till the next time. Bye-bye.